Hey Nick, this is a video for you because I suddenly realised I haven't actually really shown you around the Cayman because I don't know, it's a crazy idea that maybe you'd be here one day and you know, we could go out in it. But so obviously I just want to show you around the car because knowing how you like your Porsches, and I'm not sure how much you've looked at Caymans and stuff, but I washed and waxed it last weekend, and today I've just finished vacuuming and just treating the leather, so it's a good opportunity to show you inside and outside of me Cayman. So I thought I'd do that. Man, this video, I haven't done any videos on this phone. It's got crazy image stabilization. It's awesome. Anyway, I'm not talking about the phone, I'm talking about the car. Yeah, so there it is. 2007, obviously, with only 44,000 Ks, not miles, Ks. So that's even less than miles on the clock. And hopefully as I take you around it, you'll see why I picked it up. It wasn't just because I was jealous of you with your 911, and it wasn't just because I realised I couldn't afford a Ferrari. It was literally because I fell in love with this particular one as soon as I saw it, took it for a drive, and it's like, yeah, this is the one. There was a 2016 for sale, not at the Porsche dealership, at a Mazda dealership, would you believe, that we saw yesterday, and that, even though it's 2016, has 50 odd, I think it was about 56 or 58,000 on the clock, whereas this is obviously a lot older than that and still has less Ks. I think I've got about 48,000 on the clock at the moment, which is great. Same wheels as yours, which is nice. I think my brakes might be slightly smaller than yours. I don't know. I don't know. Who's is bigger, mate? Who's is bigger? I don't know. They say it's something to do with that. Look at that. It's pretty much the same span. So you tell me if that's bigger for you, eh? Enough about that. So obviously, I mean, the two cars are very different, and you can't really compare a 911 to a Cayman, I don't think. They're two very different flavour of cars, I think. Got the wing up at the moment. We'll have a play with that. I'll try and not make this video too short, but I'm only going to do one on it anyway. Just try and get all the angles and stuff. But the nice thing about this, not sure how much you've seen them or looked at them in detail. Obviously what I have in the back here, unlike yours, I've only seen the engine in this car once, and I'm really not going to bother to open it up today because it's just going to be a one-shot thing, and plus it's just covered in red dirt, funnily enough. But there is just nothing but luggage space in the back, and all I have engine wise from here is access to my oil and coolant. Hasn't dropped a iota of either in the year that I've owned it. Goes in for its service soon. By the way, cargo net here, you can get another cargo net for there, and the engine's under this panel here, so you have to pull off this carpet, undo 5 or 6 hex heads, star heads actually, M25 or whatever they are, take off the firewall, and then you can get access there, and there's another panel here. That's how they do the belts, or inspect the belts and whatever. And a bit like your car, there's storage space everywhere, so you've got the storage cubby on that side, and I've got another one on that side as well. So that's nice. Got the wing there. There's a leaf. Get the leaf out. A couple of crazy things I'll show you, and I know you're not really nerdy about these kind of things, but this is the kind of thing that sort of gets me excited. Is the wrong word, but in terms of where's my torch? Underneath the car, this is what I was trying to explain to you, and this is why there is a bit of a difference. You know, literally, I mean, Caymans over here are 911 money in the UK, like I said. So under here, this is kind of why cars hold their value a bit better over here, because you look at all the bolts, you look at everything under here, nothing's been replaced. There's no way anything's been replaced with the case this car has got, and everything is just so clean. All the bolts, there's no surface rust because we don't have snow, we don't have the grit that gets put on the roads. This is a Western Australian only car as well. It's only ever had one owner before me, and then sold by the dealer, and everything is just clean. That bit of redding there, that in the UK you go, oh, that's a bit of surface rust. Here, that just comes straight off because that isn't surface rust, that is dirt. That's all that is. See on my finger? That's just red dirt because that's the kind of colour dirt we have over here. In fact, most of that probably came off my own drive. And so yeah, look, every single bolt, everything is just clean as underneath this car. Now the other weird thing, while we're talking about the underside of the car, is and it's silly things like that get me, like this, that get me excited. This is the first car I've ever had where the underside looks like this, where it is just flat. That's not focusing very well. Let's see if I can get it to focus. But yeah, it is just flat. And I love that to bits. That is just so cool. I guess maybe the Beetle was a little bit, being rear engine, but not like this. I mean, it looks like a full-scale Matchbox toy. I love it. It's so cool. Silly little things make me happy. So that's the outside of the car. Glad I've got red dirt on my finger before we do the inside. Let me just rub that off. I'll do the front first as well, actually. So with the front, well, it'll be the same as yours, actually, to be honest. But yeah, so you've got all that storage space in the back, and then so I'd say I've got close to double the storage space of the 911, because pretty much this is the same as the front of the 911. Be the same as yours underneath behind here. I've just got a can of emergency puncture repair spray and a compressor. There's no spare tyre. And in here I've got the CD changer, because my head unit's the different one, the one below the one you had. Now here's the thing. My dealer sales guy said you push on here. Since had a ex-Porsche mechanic say you should push here. The reason why people push here is to obviously save touching the paint, but the reason why you would actually push here is because that is actually supported by here, and so in theory you're not damaging anything. I don't know which is the right one. Who knows? You can go crazy getting picky about things like that, eh? Off the back of the fact that you are having to sell yours, it sort of made me think I need to just drive this more, because I sort of have to acknowledge that one day I'll be in the same boat, hey? And it'll be a real shame if I sell it and I'm saying, well, yeah, I didn't really take it anyway. So I know you've had some adventures in yours. So inside, I mean, it probably looks very similar to your 911, but slightly different. Dash is different. I don't have sports chrono, so I've got no wart on the dash, but I also obviously don't have the functions that go along with that, and I had to remind myself of that after my mate beat me in his Jag XF down the drags, that actually it's when you have the launch control and stuff like that that you can achieve like the 13 seconds in these, and I don't have any of that, so unless I got a perfect launch, perfect run, it just wasn't going to happen. So I'm glad I stopped trying before I broke something, to be honest. But other than that, I mean, inside, same as outside, inside this car looks and feels brand new, mate. It's absolutely insane. Every time I look at it, every time I come in the garage, because I kind of forget I own it. Oh no, I'm up to 49,000. No! When it gets over 50,000, it turns into a pumpkin. But yeah, I have to pinch myself, to be honest, because it's just great. Let's just open the back of the garage a little bit so I can start it up without choking me. I'm wearing my mountain bike shoes and I've just vacuumed the car. That's not the right way around to do things, is it? But yeah. Here's where it suddenly throws an error or tells me it hasn't got any oil or something. Oh, look at that, beautiful. So, I mean, I've got the wing up at the moment. Let's put that down. So the only buttons I've got in mine are, got a standard head unit, by the way, which they replaced for me because the original one wasn't working. Completely free, which is great. So I've got the wing up and down button, which I'll play with in a second. And the only other one I've got, apart from obviously traction control off, is I have the exhaust. So we'll play with that in a second as well. But the wing, one of my favourite toys. When you know there's somebody looking at the back of your car in traffic, you just can't help but, if the wing's up you put it down, and if the wing's down you put it up, just to pose. It's so sad. But anyway, so if I press that, oh no, that'll keep it up because it's kind of a bit stupid. So now it's saying, oh, you want the wing up? That's a good job. It was already up, but I won't tell you that. I'll just put a light on. That's all that does. And then so I have to press that again. No, I have to hold it down, and then so now it will be down, and that looks quite nice as well. So much of the time I drive with it down. Depends how I feel. I've gone through a period of liking having it up all the time. And if I press that button again, oh, look at that! You can't get bored of doing that. So this is what the car sounds like ordinarily. What I'm going to do actually, I'm going to try and I'm going to prompt you here, and I'm just going to give it a couple of stabs. I'm just going to lean you up against my Dyson here. I'm just going to give it a couple of stabs, and then I'll open the exhaust and I'll give it a couple more stabs. So there you go. I didn't want to stab it too hard because I've only just turned it on, so I only actually revved it very briefly to 3,000 because I've only just turned it on. But yeah, there we go. It's inside my Cayman. So yeah, very, very similar to yours, but obviously the 2-seat layout, and most importantly, you know, the feature everybody loves. Exactly the same as in your 997. Beautiful, love it. Yeah, so no, loving it, absolutely loving it. So I guess thank you for introducing me to Porsche, mate, because if it wasn't for that trip to Wales that day, I wouldn't have this. I'd still be chasing a Ferrari, and I'd probably be in debt to a company that actually folded, who were selling them on consignment, and then the guy disappeared off to Vietnam without handing over cars or handing over money to rightful owners of cars. So, yep, you actually saved my life. Maybe, I don't know. Seems a bit extreme, but yeah. Was it in the first take I made of this? I did a whole ramble, and I suddenly realised I wasn't actually videoing, so I started again. So in case I missed it, the only modifications, if anything ever gets changed in this car, which will be fully reversible, is the only things I would do is you can take all that off of the engine, clean the engine up, paint, I'd get replacement plenum tops, and then paint them silver with red Porsche lettering, and then you get a clear, so a glass, hopefully I assume it's ballistics glass cover, so a bit like the Ferraris, you can actually see the engine through the back cover here. So that is a really nice modification, and of course fully reversible. And the only other thing I have in mind, with some days I think I want to do it and other days I don't, but again it would be easily reversible, is to get replacement vent scoops or funnels, whatever they call them, but actually get black ones, so that it really accentuates, and instead of looking like this sort of fish gill, because it's black, it sort of hides the shape and it just looks like a big opening, even though it's actually the same. The cheapest way out is you actually just take this out and you actually put some protective mesh on the inside, but of course, I mean, I trust Porsche have done the right thing aero wise, and this is actually designed specific shape to do a job. That may be naive, but I assume that that's what they've done. And other than that, slightly higher profile tyres. on the replacement tyres that I want to get, which will probably be Bridgestone RE003s or the current equivalent, because they keep changing their models, but they're a really good tyre over here. So yeah, there you go. Just thought I'd show you around, because I mean, hopefully one day you'll come over and we'll go for a ride anyway. But in the meantime, there it is. Beautiful. Catch you later, mate.